Hello everyone and welcome back guys to episode 4 of my F1 1980s career mode guys. And if you did miss out on the last episode, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But today we are here for the duel in the Formula 1 crown. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix. Not looking forward to this race. I think I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not a fan of Monaco, and it's raining as well, which just adds even more. Kick a man whilst he's down is certainly the right way to describe a wet Monaco Grand Prix. But starting pair on the grid once more, not exactly where I want to be starting, but at least it means around Monaco, you know exactly where you want to take the setup, and that is, make it as good acceleration as possible, and also, not a particularly good top speed. Obviously, everyone that does know Monaco knows exactly what I mean, but yeah, as you can see, running the gears as short as they will go. Only going to be able to get about 165, 170 miles an hour out of the car around this circuit, so, it just shows how extreme, you really want to make your car, because starting low down the grid as well, it's going to be very, very difficult to make overtakes here at Monaco. But here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. I think we've got Michael Schumacher on pole once again. He's done a fine job getting those pole positions out in qualifying. It's certainly a Ferrari. Yes, it is Michael Schumacher once more. My teammate Hakkinen down in P4, and there I am 2 rows behind him down in P8 on the grid. But here we are then, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. It is 10 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Charlie Whiting wasting no time. They're trying to get this race underway. We get a much better start than Andretti alongside me there, and down in towards someone. We go right around his outside as well as his teammate Fittipaldi there. Unfortunately, we get boxed in ever so slightly behind my teammate now. Just see we're 3 wide going up the hill there. Unfortunately, Berger just gets squeezed onto my front wing there. We nearly spin him around, but we do hold it, nice and clean. Around the outside of Berger we go in towards Casino Square. Turns to the inside for the second part of the complex there, nudging the wall ever so slightly. But that's been a fairly successful start up into P6, nice and early on there, making up a couple of places. And now down into the hairpin here, we're going to be all over the back of Emerson Fittipaldi, but just these cars are so wide, nowhere to go. See, coming through the next corner though, we get caught on the wall, and we've been span around. Berger sort of helps me around a bit, but unfortunately there, we're facing the wrong way at the Monaco Grand Prix. Somehow get the car facing back the right way without having to do any handbrake turns or anything like that, but that leaves us side by side with Alan Jones in towards the tunnel corner. So he goes side by side, he does back out of it there, as that Sauber, I think it is, has got absolutely 0 straight line speed. Actually, no, I'm pretty certain it's actually a Williams, not a Sauber. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, we're now moving on to lap 2 of the Grand Prix then. And after a fairly eventful first lap of this Monaco Grand Prix, you can see on the mini-map how much time we've lost to the race leaders here. But, we can't afford to be sitting around and wasting time. We think about going for a move around the outside of Alain Prost there, but unfortunately for me, he just shuts the door there on, going through there, and now down in towards the hairpin once more. I think, is that Massenet? I really do not know my corner names around Monaco. Whatever I do know is that we've completely dive-bombed Alain Prost there through the hairpin. Now back up into P6 of the Grand Prix here, and you can see now Emerson Fittipaldi, the next car up the road, really need to push to try and close back up to him, in this race. We had a terrible result last time out at Spa, and we really need to try and get a much better result here. See on lap 5, the gap 5.5 seconds to Fittipaldi at the road. We completely missed the apex through turn 1 as well, but we're really trying to push in at this Grand Prix to close up. See now Hakkinen, my teammate, setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix there, so just proves those guys definitely not slouching around either. And now, as you can see, onto the end of lap 9, Emerson Fittipaldi now is just a couple of seconds up the road here, so we've reeled him in quite nicely over these last few laps there. Mansell sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here, but now we need to try and, once you get into the dirty air of the cars ahead of you, it's so difficult to try and keep up, especially around a track like Monaco as well, where any small mistakes can be really costly there, nudging the wall ever so slightly through the first couple of corners there. But you now hear Jeff on the radio telling me that Emerson Fittipaldi is actually going to be running a little bit of fuel conservation mode at the moment, which is probably why we're closing in on him so quickly here. And now, we really need to try and dive on the opportunity if it does arise, getting so close to him. And now we're going to have a late lunge down the inside into the hairpin once more there. Really, not really any sort of opening there, but we go for a bit of a switchback move there, almost pushing him through down in towards Portier there. And now we move up into P5 of the Grand Prix here. 8 laps to go Now we need to try and close back down on my teammate Mika Hakkinen here, try and score as many points as we possibly can. Damage limitation in this Grand Prix is an absolute certainty here as we nail that chicane there quite nicely. Unfortunately, get a bit of a poor exit out on towards the end of lap 13, setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix down into the 1:22. This is just how hard we are pushing at the moment. The gap now to my teammate is just 3.6 seconds here, and we are pushing as much as we possibly can. But as Jeff there says, this is exactly what we need right through to the very end of the Grand Prix. But maintaining 100% focus and 100% pushing is no easy feat at the Monaco Grand Prix here, as we now skip on to lap 16, now closing up on the back of my teammate Mika Hakkinen here. P4 in this Grand Prix, would be quite good damage limitation considering the spin at the start. I can only begin to imagine how well we could have done if, we hadn't had that spin on lap 1 here. But closing in on my teammate Mika Hakkinen here as we come through the first and second sector, just trying to close up, and unfortunately they're just not able to get the car turned into the hairpin here, and this is just really where you struggle. You get within a second of the car ahead of you, and then the downforce levels just completely goes. You can see there, struggling to get the car turned in to, down in towards the tunnel there. As you see now, just 2 laps to go of this Monaco Grand Prix, still closing in on my teammate Mika Hakkinen. The gap now back up to just 2.4 seconds here, and Emerson Fittipaldi has completely dropped off behind me here. We're still setting fastest laps of the Grand Prix here, but you can see just coming through the first couple of sectors of this Monaco lap. As much as I hate driving this track, when you do get a couple of corners hooked up quite nicely, especially in a car like this, it is so satisfying to watch. So I'm gonna leave you on board with this next half a lap of this Grand Prix here. See, lap 19 of 20, very little fuel left in the car, but yeah, I'll let you listen to this car through the Monaco tunnel. Down into the hairpin there, trying to take as much as we possibly can through the chicane there, over those flat curbs. You can see Hakkinen is getting caught out behind. I think that's one of the Williams cars in P3 of the Grand Prix here. So, we try and benefit from this as much as possible. Clipping the apex there through the final chicane of this lap and down in towards the final couple of corners there. Raskas, we just clipped the wall on the inside there, and that's certainly not what I needed there as we hit the wall through Anthony Noakes there, and that is certainly not the run onto the final lap that we need in this Monaco Grand Prix. The gap straight back up to 3 seconds there when it was probably down to about 1.5 through those final couple of corners. Now, unfortunately, as we skip on halfway around a lap 20 of the Grand Prix there, I think that one final mistake really put pay to any last lap lunges that we were going to be able to make on my teammate Mika Hakkinen here. But coming through in towards the final sector of this Grand Prix, the Hakkinen, you can see, he's still effectively pushing the car ahead of him there. I think that is Damon Hill, but I'm not 100% sure as we come through into the final sector, through the swimming pool chicanes, breaking down nice and tidily there. Don't really want to rip a wheel off on the final lap of the Grand Prix there, and now down in towards Raskas one final time, just not getting the car turned in there absolutely appallingly, and through Anthony Noakes. Michael Schumacher able to come through to win the Monaco Grand Prix. We're going to come through in a bit of a disappointing P5. So there we are then at the end of the Monaco Grand Prix, and Michael Schumacher able to take home the race victory with Damon Hill P2 and Nigel Mansell in P3. That FW12 team able to make big gains over us after that race. But yeah, the Team Lotus guys of myself and the Hakkinen P4 and P5. Emerson Fittipaldi 6th. Alain Prost getting very good points there in 7th. Those cars really, are 9th and 10th every single race for us. So for him to be able to score a few bonus points there, very ideal. Andretti, the final finisher there with Gerhard Berger and Alan Jones, unfortunately retiring from the Grand Prix. But having a look then over at the point standings, we still just about hold on to P3 overall, but we are losing points rapidly to Michael Schumacher and Nigel Mansell here. 14 points back to Mansell, 30 points back to Michael Schumacher there, and just 10 points ahead of my teammate Hakkinen there, so not exactly ideal after that race. And having a look overall in the constructors standings as well, we're also now 8 points behind the FW12 team as well. But hopefully, you know, you guys have still enjoyed this video. Do not forget to like, subscribe if you want to see more of my F1 1980s career mode. And hopefully, you know, I will see you guys next time at the Spanish Grand Prix.